Well, I grew up in New York, and I kind of a large family, and the word dysfunction comes in. Dysfunctional families was the stereotypical of most families during that day. Growing up in my home, there was not a lot of joy and peace. As a defense against the loneliness and the feeling empty, I started overeating. And as I grew older, I started getting teased as a kid for my weight, and that led me to becoming a bully. At 11 years old, I started smoking marijuana. I dropped out of high school because of my marijuana and alcohol use. I thought joining the Marine Corps was going to solve all my problems. My problems with my weight, my problems with being bullied, and my problems not feeling not belonging to anything. I needed something. A month prior to my completion of my 3-year enrollment in the Marine Corps, I was arrested for possession and distribution of marijuana on a military installation. I was sentenced to 1 year and 5 days in the brig. After when I got home, I was on parole, so I didn't know what to do, so I decided to start a painting business with my brother. I thought that maybe, this was it. I finally found what I need. I'm gonna be my own boss, I'm gonna be successful, I'm gonna have a lot of money. I figured that would make me happy. And then I met a beautiful girl, her name is Gloria. And our first son, Jonathan, was born after being married for 3 years. Things were going well, my business was thriving, we traveled on vacations. I also was getting very active in the local business organizations. Everything was perfect, but inside was empty. It was a hole, it was rotten. I didn't feel good about myself. I was very unhappy. And that led to my drug addiction to take the next step and to use harder drugs to the point of cocaine and Percocets and anything to make myself feel better. Unfortunately, after 15 years of being married, just growing totally apart from Gloria and from my family, I decided to ask Gloria for divorce. Then one night I met a woman on the street, and I didn't know this woman, she was a crack user. And I always said I would never do it. I'll never smoke crack. No way, that's for losers. I'm not a loser, I'm a successful businessman. And after about a month of relationship with her, I asked her, I wanted to try it. And that's when my life really, really took a turn. The drug just took total control of me. Basically, after 7 months, I was broke, homeless, had nowhere to go. I felt abandoned. I felt nobody loved me, nobody cared about me anymore. But then something made me look up to the skies, and I prayed to the Lord. I said, dear God, please give me hope. Please help me. I met a counselor, and I shared him my whole story. I was finally honest with somebody. And this counselor, he recommended that I go to a halfway house out of state in Florida. At the halfway house in Boca Raton, I had a roommate, and Richard invited me to go to church with him on Sunday. So he brought me down to Calvary Chapel, Fort Lauderdale. And I started seeing all these people with their hands in the air, and just the joy and the peace on their faces and the happiness. And it's just, I craved it, I wanted it so bad. And I knew I was in the right place. And on May 13th of 2007, I made a decision to publicly accept Christ as my Lord and Savior and to commit my life to being a Christian. On June 9th, 2007, I was baptized in the Atlantic Ocean. And that's where I said goodbye to the old John. The new John was born. A short time after making the decision to live a Christian life, my mom was down visiting with me, and I had the privilege of holding her hand and walking her down the aisle at Calvary Chapel, Fort Lauderdale, to have her invite Christ into her life. And the miracle to me of it was, a year prior, my mom had an order of protection against me and had me arrested because in a blackout, I threatened her. My relationship now with my mother is probably the relationship that God intended a son to have with their mother. I developed a relationship with several gentlemen who are I consider today my accountability partners. I'm learning how to deal with people, and how to be with people, and how to help people. Now, aside from my church activities, I'm employed working in ballet, parking cars, which I tell you what, monetarily, I have less than I've ever had in my life. But I'm the happiest I've ever been in my life.